fracking is great. Okay, let's say you come upon this scene. Pink paint can on the ground. There's the paintbrush still dripping. And then there's this little guy. And you say, "Hey, why'd you do that?" You can imagine what kind of answers he'll come up with. "Paint? What paint? I don't see any paint." "Anyway, your mom said it was okay. And this wall was always like this. Graffiti increases property values." In a rapid-fire succession, he comes up with a bunch of excuses, and some of them contradict each other. This is exactly what the gas industry does when you ask them about water contamination. They come up with tons of excuses, and some of the excuses even contradict each other. Like they'll first say, "There's no water contamination," like this sign from Franklin Citizens for Truth, and like this was reported by Rachel Colley of Energy in Depth.
They have water. The DEP said the water is fine.
And then they'll say, "Okay, there's problems here, but the problems have always been here." Or it was caused by the slaughterhouse that used to be here.
Contaminated water. The slaughterhouse was here years ago. Oh, yeah. And they had contaminated water at that time.
So even on a simple basic fact of, is there water contamination here, they're all over the place. First they'll say, "There's nothing wrong here." And then they'll say, "Okay, there's plenty of stuff wrong here, but the gas industry didn't do it." Now what's interesting is the people that are saying these things almost always have a financial interest in the gas drilling going on. So let's focus on Dale Webster.
We can all be theatrical about it, but the bottom line is you guys don't know what you're talking about.
Dale Webster was one of the people that showed up to disrupt the activities of people that had come to protect the family from the gas industry from removing water tanks which had been supplied by WPX Energy because of water contamination in their wells. Dale has several wells on his property, and if we take a look at the production numbers from publicly available data and run some calculations based on nominal values for the price of the gas and estimated royalties, we can see that Dale has likely made about $200,000 from the wells on his property.
Yeah, baby! Yeah.
So you can imagine with that kind of cash, he's all for it. Oh, and speaking of water contamination, check this out. On the Webster 2H well, out of 7 inspections, there have actually been 3 violations issued by the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection. 1 for a failed casing, 2 for contaminating groundwater, and the 3rd for a reporting violation. So now let's listen to Dale Webster when posed the question, "Is the water fine in Franklin Forks?" Listen to how he answers, and then think about the kid with the can of paint. This moves very quickly, so pay attention. To help you listen to this better, when he says the water's fine, we're going to ring a bell like this. And then when he says the water isn't fine, we're going to make another sound effect like this.
There's no problem. The problems exist from other sources, and they're trying to be laid onto the gas industry because the gas industry has deep pockets and they're convenient. That's the bottom line. Bottom line is that the water is good. The things that cause the water to be bad have nothing to do with gas drilling.
Tax-deductible donations for water relief can be made to Food and Water Watch and mailed to care of Craig Stevens, P.O. Box 466, Montrose, PA 18801.